What?
Yeah, more gum. May I have
So,
some?
we're gonna try to find
Need
a,
to invest in your classroom snack jar.
we're gonna try to find a grief, but she's gonna, we're all practicing.
Okay.
So whatever comes up, let's just kind of see what happens, since you're new, and she's done this a few times. But I'm not here, just kind of see how it unfolds. We're listening for negative beliefs, we're listening for negative thinking, and how that perpetuates negative thinking. Okay.
So do I ask her or can she just start letting me talk?
Well, you're starting a session, so either introduce yourself, or, however you would.
Hello, how are you? I'm Paula.
Amazing.
Great. I see it in your face. So, why are you here today?
I'm on a life journey.
And what is that life journey?
Finding my true self.
And
Not what people thought of who I should be, rather who I want to be.
So, so you said you want to be yourself, not what other people think of you. Why do you say, or why do you think other people?
From this, I guess, since I was little, I was always told to be somebody who I didn't feel was right. Like a nasty person.
So that was what you were, an asshole.
That's what I was told to be.
Oh,
But deep inside, I didn't feel like I was that person.
okay. And when you say nasty person, that's someone that's what you were told to be. How did that make you feel?
Nasty is they wanted you to be.
But what in your definition of nasty? What are some things that
I was told to mock my bipolar grandmother, bark and sound like a cat to drive her crazy.
Okay.
And I never liked doing it, but I was 8 years old, so I was told that I had to do it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be obeying the rules.
Okay. So bending the rules in what sense?
I wasn't obeying the rules. Like, I was supposed to be really rude to her. I wasn't supposed to embrace her because she was bipolar.
Okay. Okay. So what was it? How did that make you feel when
Ugly.
ugly in what sense?
I wasn't being who I wanted to be. I wanted to embrace her. And I really didn't see anything wrong with who she was unless my mom pointed it out.
Okay. And what was your true feelings towards her?
Just wanted to hug her and have fun with her. I thought her sporadicness was fun. I didn't see it as wrong, and I got to go on shopping sprees.
So you also saw it as
Beneficial.
a benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what else were you told how to be nasty?
To my father, too. To be rude to everybody except her.
Okay,
I
so
know.
except you're speaking about your mother. Okay. And now that you have children, right? Well, you were telling me that. Do you have children?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So, having that past of being nasty, like you said, how would you say that that's affecting your relationship with your children, or are you trying to be better?
Trying to be better. I do the opposite. Okay, everything she told me to do, I do the opposite of because she was wrong.
Okay.
But if they start acting up, I can take it as disrespect quite easily versus them just being children.
Okay. Disrespect, what's your definition of disrespect?
Rolling of eyes, even though it's pretty basic. Every child.
that's mostly your issue with them, more than anything else.
And
What-
Allison.
Okay, in those two aspects, I don't know how to say the sentence, but you find that disrespectful. Now, does it affect your life personally?
No.
It doesn't. So why would you say you find it disrespectful?
That's what I'm conditioned to feel like I don't know, I guess it's part of me that's like, that's wrong, but the other part of me says it's okay. So it's battle of the egos, I guess.
Okay, now, battle of the egos, going back to being nasty when you were a child. Would you say that that changed your personality, your viewpoint on life?
Yeah, I had to follow a strict set of rules, and if I didn't, I wasn't allowed to live life. I would be told to go sit in my room and think about how I should be the person she wants me to be.
Okay, and what did that do to you in the sense of the word nasty, now, as of right now?
It's harder to be myself because I'm scared it's right or wrong.
Okay.
So
you
I'm
have-
looking for the approval, I guess.
Okay. Now, are you married?
Yes.
Okay, with your spouse, does it feel, what do you feel when your spouse might tell you something?
It's like it's an attack.
Like it's an attack, and what do you do usually when that happens?
I try not to argue. Try keyword. But that's the first thing I can think of is something negative instead of maybe he's trying to help me.
Okay. Trying to help you in what sense? What do you think that?
Become a better person. He's
So-
pointing at my errors.
Okay, so would you say that right now, do you think you're a better person?
Yes.
Okay, and, why do you think that? How does it make you feel?
I'm at a more peaceful place now. But had you asked me that months ago, I would have said no.
And why is that? Do you feel like you might know, but you just don't want to speak about it or bring it up? Okay. Why wouldn't you want to speak about it? How do you see it in your eyes?
How to improve. Or how
Well, I mean, improve them.
I can see the improvement, but I can also see where those ways I was taught hold me back. So I guess I'm still afraid of not needing her approval.
So would you say that at times you might feel like you need, not only approval, but acceptance of others?
Yeah.
Okay. And let's say that when, do you ever not get that acceptance or the feeling? Is that
I can say,
approval / acceptance?
I don't get the feeling of acceptance a lot.
And in your.
I don't embrace it, I guess. I'm told I'm a wonderful mom, but I don't. I say thank you, but I don't process that somebody gave me a compliment. I'm more like, oh, thanks, okay.
Okay.
I brush it off. There you go. No one's involved me.
Are you scared of maybe not being approved of or accepted?
Always.
Okay, how are you trying to better that with your own kids?
Accept them for who they are and lower my standards so they can be themselves and I can love them for who they are, not who I want them to be.
Okay, now, maybe a homework assignment that it's a compliment that you said, the compliments that they give you. Even though you might see it as a negative, trying to overcome that negativity and see it more as a positive, maybe you can do that. That would be good. And
I can agree with that comment.
do you still speak or have a relationship with people in your family? Sort of.
I don't speak to my mom anymore.
And why is this?
She's still negative and I do not want that anymore.
Okay, so that's actually really good. Not the whole not speaking to your mom, but the whole negative part.
Yeah,
of it.
staying away from you.
Yeah. Could you see yourself maybe sitting down with her one day and actually explaining to her why you feel like hers?
Explaining won't happen.
And so when you say with your kids, do you think you would want like, well, you obviously want it, like an open relationship where you can talk to them and, you know, not claim that they're being nasty when they roll their eyes or disrespectful. At times with children, they tend to emotionally, or they show it. That's their way of showing it. So sometimes we take it like, oh, that attack that you said. So maybe when they do it, you can just kind of go to, do you have like a safe place that you turn to?
No, they're always with me. They're always with me.
Okay. And how does that make you feel?
There's no boundaries.
Now, do you want to set boundaries? What type of boundaries?
If I need to walk away, I want that to be respected and not followed and followed and followed.
And what do you mean by following?
They'll actually follow.
So you don't have your alone time, so to speak. And what about with your husband? What boundaries, or if you even have boundaries?
Now everything's open space, we all go to each other. And sometimes we need boundaries, but we don't. I don't set them. I'm afraid of hurting them.
Could you say that maybe that's a part of the past because of your mother and your relationship?
Yeah. The fear of hurting them, so I'm always trying to, I guess what's the word, dote? Be dote over your kids. I always try to, I guess you could say I can overbear. Instead of just giving them that space and then they will, maybe they'll give me. That's actually pretty effective.
Okay, so you're doing really well. I really like the flow.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I think that you're feeling very confident. I mean, you didn't look to me, and that was great, okay? I mean, compared to how she used to be, like every 2 words she would look to me, so I was like really glad I didn't want to interrupt. But what I want to know from you as a therapist is, what is your goal? What is your goal with the client?
To help her overcome that fear of the whole nasty and to, I guess, accept herself, to
Okay.
love herself first.
Okay.
In a way, you know, put herself first.
Okay.
But not to the point where she's gonna not or ignore
Yeah.
everyone else. Because I feel what she's doing in a way, like before, she was being nasty to her grandmother and she liked and she enjoyed being with her grandmother as opposed to what they were telling her to do. So in a way, loving herself and accepting herself will, I guess, allow others around her to view her, which she also said that she doesn't take it as a compliment.
So what's the the limiting belief there? There's a very clear thought. Give me one second.
Validation,
What was that?
validation.
Okay, there's a validation need, but what's the very clear thought that her mother taught her by mocking her grandmother? It's very clear.
Having a mental problem is like, it's not normal.
Right.
I don't know how
And
to
then
put
you
it, but that was
deserve-
one of the
yes.
first, that was one of the first ones I thought of.
Absolutely. If you have a mental
And
issue,
stigma.
then you're not worthy of either love, or you're not worthy of
Yeah, that was one of the things, that's how she
companionship, or
said
you're
it.
not worthy of not being mocked, or whatever that is. And it happens to be, and you didn't ask her, but we know, because she mentioned this first day of class, that she's bipolar. Okay, diagnosed, right?
I saw over that, that's why I didn't see her mental issues.
You
but-
would have that
Okay.
in your intake. You would have that in your intake if the client has any medications, or if the client has any diagnosed
Oh.
things. So you would know that before the client comes into your office, because they would fill that out.
That's true.
So, first day of
Saying
class.
Over that is like, in a way, I accept her the way she is. I don't judge her.
Right, but the thing is that it's a very clear parallel, that if her mom is saying,
I would question that.
mock your grandmother because she has bipolar, which is the exact same illness that she's diagnosed with, she should be mocked.
I can
Can
do
I
it like
ask you
that, but
when
when
you
I'm
were
actually
diagnosed?
doing it, it's different.
I try to listen sometimes.
Officially, 3 months ago. But
Do you know when you started having symptoms?
since I was a teenager, my dad, well, the fake dad took me to therapy and said she's batshit crazy. And she's the problem, not me. Had he kept me in that therapy, they would have found out she was bipolar, gave her treatment, and I wouldn't have been the rebellious child I was. But I'm grateful I had my son, so that was the plus side of that. I would have been diagnosed at a younger age, though.
The reason I ask is because since you were taught that your grandmother has mental illness and you're supposed to mock her, if you felt that you had similar symptoms, did you purposely not disclose that to people because you knew you would be mocked also?
Because I was always taught that my mom was, again, the word batshit crazy, and you're psycho just like your mom, and you're gonna end up alone.
Oh, so your mom was also.
Yes,
Was she diagnosed? Because it's usually genetic.
she is in denial.
So she's not under any
She's
medication.
riding that river like you cannot believe. And then my real dad has manic depressive bipolar. And he's the one, when we first met, he said, you need to get treatment because I see myself in you, but you can get it treated to where,
Right.
you'll be okay. So he's the calmer of it, but for her, I brought home a J14 magazine. It had Eminem on the cover. Now, the ironic part about it is she was very racist, but all my friends were color, Hispanic, it didn't matter. I just saw face, I didn't see color. She said I was getting into that rap shit, grabbed it, threw it, and then beat me because I liked something that had to do with color. Now, the funny part to that is her boyfriend's black. Yeah, she didn't.
But the skin tone or it's actually race? Because
Oh,
those
no.
are two different things.
Oh, well, both. So, and then my husband's African American, so it's like, and my family members are like, okay, whatever, you're happy he treats you good, but for her, if I had one friend help me with the math test, and she called me all the nasty names in the book.
Going back to
I would-
nasty as a child.
I
So
would-
do you think you're nasty?
No. I
Because you
think,
made a comment about not sure when you're behaving good or bad. And what's that about?
I can feel the happiness, but to express it, it's not there, so I feel like I come off as blah. It's like the Emoji Movie, blah. And he's feeling all these things. Yeah, and it's like I watch the movie and I'm like, I feel like this is just like a sign because he wants to feel everything.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to just be blah. And that's how I go carry through life right now. It's just, you know, and I don't embrace any, like, I got this necklace yesterday for an early birthday present. Normally I would cry and go, oh my God, my baby's got me this. And I was like, okay, thank you.
Is that a defense mechanism?
Probably.
Big time.
Oh, yeah. But it's what I've had to grow up with.
Well, you
Why?
said you needed to follow the rules, you needed to act certain ways, otherwise you wouldn't be following the rules.
I wasn't allowed to show expression like that. Like if
So-
I cried over a math page, I had to do that math page, do the multiplication table 12 times each, 1 through 12, because I got one problem wrong in math. So I hate math now.
But you want to find your authentic self, you said.
Yes.
That was clearly your goal of therapy.
Yeah.
So what is your true expression about receiving that necklace from your babies?
Cry and hold them and, you know, snot all over them because it's such a pretty necklace.
Okay. So what keeps you from doing that?
A block. There's a block there.
You in this class, girl, hashtag do it differently. It's gonna be hard, but hashtag do it differently.
And that's what I fight. And I fight that all the time. Like in the inside, I tell them I'm proud of you, I love you. I mean, they cannot go to sleep if I don't tuck them in. And I tried it one night. I was like, have my husband tuck him in. I'm too tired for this shit. I'm gonna go lay in bed. And then they're like, Mommy, all 4 voices, Mommy. And so it's like, so I'm doing something right, that they want it. But you know how you see like the moms tickle their kids and stuff, and they're like, okay, off to bed. I want to do that.
So what would happen if you did?
It's hard to do.
What would happen if you did?
I don't know. Just do it.
Then try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest.
But you having problems with, if I do this, this is going to happen.
They might want it more.
And
And then
No,
you're
no,
closer to
you're-
being your mother.
no.
But it's
She
not
wasn't
bother.
very
It's not gonna bother
touchy-feely,
you
doesn't
that
sound
want
like.
more.
No, she wasn't. She was.
She didn't want to be with mom, and she doesn't talk to mom. If she creates a boundary, if she creates any sort of distance between her children, even if it's healthy, she is one step closer to those kids being like her and her mom than the way they are with her. But there is so much room between you and your kids and you and your mom
Yeah,
that you need to explore.
exactly.
It isn't black and white. It isn't you and your mom that don't talk and you and your kids that are like obsessively on top of one another. There is a whole range there. And so we need to give her a little bit of an erection.
I have a question. I have a question for you too, Paola, because once again, I applaud that.
Yes.
I applaud her.
Yes,
I
let's give
applaud
her
Like,
Seriously?
I learned a lot from you.
I love
That's
that.
great.
But
Thank you.
a quick, I'm gonna go to you, then go to you. Quick, of course, it's just, I don't know why I feel this way, but is it possible you're trying to love your kids at a distance?
Yeah. I don't know what it is to be close to her, so I think being close with them is new and scary. And I'm a scaredy cat. I like to run away from everything. That's been my defense mechanism since I was little. I ran away from home, was taken away from her, so everything that seems normal to me is going away. It's not staying and fighting the good fight. It's more like, there's a door, I'm out.
Okay, but what is bipolar?
Exactly that.
0 to 100.
Yep.
It's all or none. So that is her illness. That is. It's all of it, we're enmeshed, or I'm out the door. That's exactly
bipolar.
what she
You're
is
either-
fighting internally.
Right. You're either manic or you're depressive.
Like, I can watch a TV show, be perfectly fine, and it's funny. Like, I think I was watching Kevin Hart, and he was doing the man I'm hungry joke, and I love that joke. But then I started crying because of my therapy session. And I was fine. 2 minutes before that, I was laughing, and then I'm like, oh my God, that therapy session sucked. And then I just started crying. And then my husband looks over, what the hell's wrong with you? I said, I don't know. And then I'll go outside and smoke a cigarette, and then I'll go, okay, I'm back to myself again.
That's me. It
What's
just come out of
yourself?
something triggered it though. You just not aware of it.
Right.
Something triggered it.
I think I can't hold it in anymore. I think I'm mentally tired of holding it all in. So I have to let it
Nah, I
out.
understand that.
Yeah, it's like out of nowhere, because I cried for 2 minutes in therapy, and then I let it go.
But you just said something, and then I was myself again. What is that?
The person who has to cook and clean and take care of everybody.
Okay, but that's not who you are. That's a role. That's a responsibility you put on yourself.
That's what I can identify with the role status there, because I have goals.
But then I was myself again.
Your identity.
Who is that?
I'm still learning her.
It sounds
What
like,
have you learned?
what have you learned?
That I'm a complicated individual.
Okay,
Why are you complicated? Why do you think you're that way?
so that's a very much a center
Yeah.
negative thinking, because that's a negative. We're all complicated. So there's this philosopher, so this is when you bring in some external information. This is just mine. There's a philosopher, his name is Gurdjieff, and I would give you something to read, or I would send you an article or something. And he says that we have hundreds and hundreds of eyes, like little eyes that live in us, not eyes, but the letter eyes.
Okay.
And that at each moment, we're constantly a different version of ourselves. So who isn't a complicated individual? If at one minute I want purple, if at one minute I want green, if at one minute I want pizza, the next minute I want green beans, we're all complicated because we're all wanting different things at each individual moment. So you're saying this with a negativity when in fact it's a fact that we all are just complicated. So who told you you're complicated? Or how did you learn that about yourself?
That I don't know. There's a lot of suppressed memories that I have. I'm still trying to get them all through this exposure therapy. So there's certain things I can't remember, like I don't know if anyone can remember playing like when they're little, and they had their friends and they went to their houses, and I can't remember that. There's a chunk in my life I cannot remember. So I know a lot of it came from her. Like, for example, I would sing into a hairbrush to the Spice Girls, to the Backstreet Boys, you know. And she would tell me, don't quit your day job. And then I would put the brush down, I'd turn on the music, and I'm like, okay, well, I suck. And she didn't say it in a joking way. She said it in like a nasty, sort of demeaning way, like, don't quit your day job. And okay. I didn't quit it.
I'm seeing that it all goes back to the word nasty.
What does nasty
Define
mean?
nasty.
Yeah, she did, but she only defined it in one way.
Yeah.
Yeah, what exactly is your definition
In a
of nasty?
measurable way, something
When I
that we
s-
can measure.
When I think of nasty, I picture her face. Just angry. All the time. She always had this nasty attitude about, like if I spilled something, it was the end of the world. So it goes back to her.
Do you get nasty with your kids?
I used to, but now I just, hence, I'll tell you why I keep my tongue right.
Yeah.
And I chipped my teeth. I literally swallowed pieces of my tooth because I did not want to say anything to them, so I'll go, you know what, I'm not doing this right now. And then I'll go walk away and they'll keep following me and I'm like, no, go over there. Or I'll call someone else in the room so I don't have to lash out.
So is there, or where is, and maybe this is a good homework assignment, where is the range between